Alistair, were you able to discover anything?
I know what happened. The murderers in the sewers were targeting a boy by the name of Cedric Rivers. His last name leaves no room for doubt. He's a bastard child, just like those the Queen is hunting down. But the assassins also killed whoever else was in the hideout at that time, and that's how Gawain fell victim to them.
How can something this dreadful have been allowed to happen?
He really is dead. His body was moved to the city watchtower. I saw it with my own eyes.
By the father. That poor boy. Sir Desmond told me of the bandits you encountered. Was it they who killed Gawain?
The Reapers did the dirty work. There's no denying that. But they were just pawns. They are now paying for their crimes.
What do you mean?
I coerced some of their members to tell me what happened, and that information led me to the city watchtower. That's where I found Gawain's corpse. But that's not all. The leader of the Reapers, the murderer himself, was locked up there. He confessed everything. The commander of the city watch paid him to carry out the task. Then he left him to rot in the dungeons, so that the crime would never be traced back to him. And here is the proof. Look at this letter. It was Valar himself who gave the assassination order to the commander of the city watch. He's behind everything.
Are you saying your half-brother murdered Gawain? I do not understand. Why would he do such a thing?
Reading between the lines of this letter, it appears that he acted on behalf of the Queen. Look at what's written here. See that you do not leave any witness. He must have known that Gawain would be with Cedric. Valar was trying to capture my brother after all. This was an ideal opportunity for him. He didn't leave him any chance of clearing his name.
You believe he acted out of revenge?
Obviously. He wants to wipe out the Sarwics and take control of Riverspring. Valar used this opportunity to get rid of him. One less obstacle in the way of his conquest. He is now assured that he will become head of House Sarwick, being both my sister's husband and my father's only descendant.
What are you planning to do?
Gawain was my brother. I can't just let that bastard Valar destroy my family. He will pay with his blood. I'll never let that wretch take the ancestral lands of House Sarwick. I already have this letter which proves his involvement in the sewer murders. I have to find out what it is that links these murders and expose Valar's treachery. Once the people learn of his treachery, the Queen will have no choice but to sever her ties with him.
You are right. The answer probably lies with the bastards that the Queen is hunting down.
I'm not sure I follow.
Well, if you think about it, isn't that what all these murders have in common? All the victims were bastards. In fact, you helped track one of them down yourself, didn't you?
This bastard child was related to an enemy of the Queen. Both are dead, on her orders.
Indeed. But I think that the hounding of the bastards hides more than a simple plot. After all, why did she have to call on you? If these targets really were enemies of the Crown, why didn't she send the gold cloaks?
Indeed. She chose an inconspicuous method every time.
The Queen does not wish for this matter to be made public.
These bastards are not chosen at random. Valar himself is one, but he's not worried. So there must be some other link between them. But what? I can't put my finger on it.
I might have a lead on this matter. One of my contacts at court passed a letter on to me. It's from Lord John Arryn himself, the King's Hand. He sent it to the Red Keep sometime before his death. It was meant for Grand Maester Pycelle, who sits on the Royal Council.
You claim he wrote a letter just 2 weeks before his death. But what did it say?
Well, John Arryn asked the Grand Maester to consult a book on the lineages of the Seven Kingdoms. And this came after he was seen in the company of Stannis Baratheon, visiting various dens of ill repute. It caused quite a stir. If you're unfamiliar with these two men, they have long established reputations of unfailing virtue. Normally, neither of them would ever frequent that kind of establishment. After a little investigating, I learned that the Hand had visited half a dozen bastards that day, one of whom was the potter that you and Sir Valar killed. In light of all these pieces of information, I've some doubts that Jon Arryn's death was by natural causes.
You think that because he was walking about town and consulting some tome on lineage, that someone had the Hand of the King assassinated?
Think about it. If Jon Arryn discovered something about those bastards that someone powerful didn't want him to know, I have a feeling that this book on lineages holds the key to this mystery. And I've sent word to a man capable of shedding light on all of that for us. He's a Maester of the Citadel called Rupert. He's also an expert in ancient texts, and it just so happens that he has worked on the book. I do not know him personally, but he has agreed to meet with us. He was asked to bring a copy of the tomb.
Why call on this Maester Rupert?
Grand Maester Pycelle is the Queen's loyal servant. It would be highly inadvisable to contact him directly. However, there is still one concern to settle: the payment.
How much is he asking for?
That's the problem. He does not seek money. If he did, this matter would already be settled. He wants a particular settlement, but he refuses to explain himself in writing. He would rather discuss this in private.
Fine. I will meet with him. Where can I find him?
The meeting has been arranged near an illegal arena, hidden in the sewers. I sincerely hope he will give us the help we need. I've already taken the liberty of sending Sir Desmond there, as he knows these parts well. He will be able to come to your aid if something goes wrong.
Thank you, Lord Halton. Hub?
Oh, I'm so glad they let you go, my lord. I was so afraid when I heard the gold cloaks had taken you away. A sorry business it was.
Yes, Lambert was far less fortunate than me, I fear. Did they cause you any trouble?
Me? No. Who could have anything against a poor bugger like me? Anyway, I've kept away from the house since then. But I have a favour to ask of you, my lord. If it's not too much trouble, of course.
It depends on what it is. What is the matter with you?
With me? Nothing. But I fear for Bethany, a friend of mine. She's a good girl, only in a difficult situation. She needs a kind hand, you see.
Who is the young girl, Hub? I didn't know you to have such friends.
She isn't... well, I mean, she's a friend, my lord. You might say she's a friend, but not... not in the way you think. You'll go weak at the sight of her, my lord. She's a real beauty, and so sweet, too. The image of the maid, and you'll see, she'd explain it best. Better than me, I'm sure.
R'hllor knows how to show love. I couldn't refuse to help a young woman in need. Tell me where she is, I will see what I can do.
Oh, thank you, my lord. Thank you. I'll be off to tell her the good news. I can't tell you how happy she'll be.
I've just got this in from Dawn. Oh, sir, straight from Mir and Bravos. I've even got 1 or 2 items from... Beerin!
I can't...
The others take me. Who is it? Him again?
Mother have mercy, Gunser, you are terrible. Is it too much for you to remember your courtesies once in a while?
Piss on courtesies. I like to know who you're bringing round before I offer them bread and water. I don't run a whorehouse.
I would advise you to mind your tone. I came at the request of Hub to assist a young lady, not to be insulted.
He talks down to me as well. I don't know who you are, but I wouldn't be talking to me like that under my own roof.
Gunser, just shut your big mouth. He's my master, Sir Alistair Sarwick. He's come to help us.
You see, Brute? Now get out of my sight. I need to speak to this fine man, and I don't want you cursing behind my back.
Aye, all right then. Forgive me, my lord. I don't mean to be rude or nothing. I'm just doing what I can to be master of my own home, you see. I'll leave you alone.
Please forgive Gunser, my lord. He's forgotten his courtesies. I'm Bethany. It's a pleasant surprise to see someone as fine as you come down here. Ub speaks highly of your kindness, but I didn't think to see you.
There is little harm in coming to hear your story, young lady. Tell me, how can I help you?
I need you to take a message to Sir Giles of House Langwood. Mother of mercy, this is so embarrassing. I'm with his child, but he doesn't even know. He hasn't come to see me for weeks. I've already made several attempts to send word to him, all in vain, I fear. House Langwood has a high opinion of itself, you know. They don't approve of a common girl like me appearing at their gates. They sent me away.
Have you considered the possibility that Sir Giles has no intention of seeing you again? It would not be the first time that a knight abandons one of his conquests the very next day.
No, it can't be. It's not like that. Sir Giles was so sweet and came here so often. He loves me. I'm sure of it. Help me, my lord, I beg of you. If you've ever known what it is to love, don't let my child be born without a father.
I will try and help you. I will go and find him, and we'll see how he looks on your situation.
Thank you. Oh, thank you, my lord. Hand him this letter. It will bring him here.
Don't get your hopes up, young lady. I said I would speak to him, not that I will make him change his mind. In the end, it is his decision.
I just need to see him and speak to him. Everything will turn out right after that. Tell him I'm waiting here. I'm sure he will come.
I hope so for your sake, Bethany. Good day to you. Is this the manse of the family Langwood?
Yes? Who's asking?
I am Sir Alistair of House Sarwick. I need to speak with Sir Giles. Is he in?
Yes, Sir Giles? Yes, he's here. Do you want me to go find him?
What do you think?
Well, yes. Forgive me, my lord. I am on my way.
Well, where is he? Ah, Sir Alistair. I don't believe I've had the pleasure, even of knowing you by name. Please tell me, what brings you to my door?
I have come on behalf of a young lady known to you. Bethany entrusted me with a message for you.
Beth? God be good. Thank you for informing me, Half-Pint. I will take care of it from here. Now go stare at something in the kitchens.
In the kitchens? Yes, sir.
Are you afraid of what might be heard, Sir Giles?
You could say that. I'm to be married soon, you see. I doubt that the name of Beth would go down too well if spoken too loud. It's a sorry business. I liked the girl, truly I did. I had some of my best times with her. Unfortunately, the family of my betrothed might be rather sensitive about the matter. I'm sure you understand.
Yes, completely.
What? Oh, what did she want?
She asked me to give you this, and to tell you that she hopes to see you. She is expecting your child, Sir Giles. She needs you.
My what? A bastard? With Beth? Gods, that is, unexpected. Why did this have to happen now? I mean, I've had my fair share of scandal, but this... What am I to do? Do you think this will put my marriage at risk? I've done nothing wrong, have I? A man is entitled to have a good time when he's young, isn't he?
It is one thing to have a good time and another to cause others to suffer. The poor girl loves you. The girl is but an innocent and trusted you. You took advantage of her. She is now in need because of you. Only a coward would abandon her like this.
Did I hear you say innocent? Are you sure we speak of the same Beth?
What do you mean?
Is this some sort of joke? Beth is a whore, Shatire's most beautiful girl. I was her best client, at least before I, became betrothed. I'm sure you understand.
That is not how she described things to me.
Maybe she was ashamed. Or perhaps she thought that you would turn her away if she told you. In truth, I thought all I need to do was stop going there, and each would then carry on with their own lives. I would never have imagined she would leave the brothel for me. That changes everything, doesn't it?
She lied to my face about her position, and she would not have done so without good reason. It would be ill-advised to do anything until we are certain of her intentions. Shatire is a friend of mine. If Bethany was one of her girls, she might be able to tell me more about her.
I defer to your judgment, my lord. Given my situation here, I would prefer not to return to the establishment myself. I shall wait for you here.
That might be wise.
Sir Alistair, it's a pleasure to see you again so soon. I hope that you will stay with us a bit longer this time.
It would be a great pleasure, dear lady. But again, I have only come to satisfy my curiosity. I would like you to tell me about Bethany.
Beth? That girl was a bad seed. She's no longer here, Alistair. What has become of her since she left is of no concern to this house.
This is the first time you speak so bitterly of one of your girls, my dear lady. What did she do to so displease you?
There are rules in our house, for our visitors as well as our girls. Beth paid them no heed. She was ambitious, arrogant, dishonest. She enjoyed deceiving her lovers, letting them get behind in the payments. She'd say it was to entice them to come and see her more often. I thought perhaps she skimmed some of the money, but I'll never know. I told her to put an end to her scheming, and she left.
Is it possible that she ran away out of love? Beth told me about Sir Giles Langwood and told me she was trying to contact him. He seemed to care about what happened to her.
How very considerate of Sir Giles, especially considering the fact that he departed in such a cavalier manner.
I beg your pardon?
Sir Giles was Beth's favorite beau. He came to see her constantly. I thought he was particularly generous and wealthy. Apparently, he was just irresponsible. When I presented him with the bill and requested that he pay up, he paled and asked for more time. From that day on, no news of him. Poor Beth was completely forgotten. Now that that little thief is no longer under my roof, he's worried about her again. That is rather charitable of him, and I must say, quite convenient.
She claims to be carrying his child.
Is that so? Well, she will be sadly disillusioned. A man who spills his seed in a whorehouse does not like to be confronted with the fruit. Is the child really Giles's? There's so many potential fathers. How's she planning to convince a noble to take responsibility for it? Beth is too astute a girl to have been taken in like this. I'm surprised. I don't know what to say. Would you like to look at her room? Perhaps she left something that could shed some light on the matter.
That's a good idea. I will return in a moment, dear lady.
That one there with the black beard, that's Alistair Sar.
I'll need to change.
So, my friend, did the room satisfy your curiosity?
I came across a farewell letter written by Sir Giles addressed to Beth. An elegant gesture coming from the indifferent miser you described.
I admit that the writing is meticulous. It must have cost him dearly to have this note passed along. Do not let this piece of prose mislead you, Alistair. It wouldn't be the first time a lover sends this type of hasty farewell to one of my girls. It's less a show of affection than a lack of character.
I'll leave the matter up to your good judgment. This young Sir Langwood did indeed appear to lack resolve. You know how some men are, Shatire.
You can't imagine how well. Was there anything else?
Nothing out of the ordinary. She must have taken everything of import with her. The only way to shed some light on the matter is to ask her directly.
Before you take your leave, Alistair, may I ask a favor of you?
It would be ungrateful of me to not at least listen to you, dear lady.
Beth's scheming has cost my house dearly. Sir Giles may very well deny it, but he owes us a considerable debt. If you manage to see him, could you let him know that he must pay his debts? What's more, If you could do your best to bring the ungrateful wretch back into the fold.
Are you sure you want that? From what you say, it would seem your house is better off without her.
We are the best house of pleasure in all of the 7 kingdoms, my dear. We don't just throw any old piece of meat at our patrons. Welcoming a new girl, training her, dressing her, it costs a fortune. Beth is a gifted asset, and I invested a lot in her. I beg you to bring her back to me.
I'm sure there are some people out there who would no doubt have something to say on the matter, my dear. But if I may be of any assistance to you, please be assured I will gladly do so, if only for old time's sake.
For old time's sake, then. My thanks, Alistair.
Sir Alistair, at last! Did the lovely Shataya tell you anything more?
Yes, of sorts. Of note, you forgot to mention the coin you owe her. That sheds a new light on matters, don't you think?
That again? Gods be good, will I ever rid myself of this? True, I may not have settled my debts with Shataya straight away. I sometimes went there without seeing any of the girls. I paid no heed. I lost count. She took advantage of the situation. One day, all was fine. The next, she was demanding an absolute fortune from me. What should I have done?
Pay her, perhaps? That is what a knight would do.
I can see that you've never been in my position. I cannot afford to part with such an amount. May I remind you that I am soon to be married. My family's coffers are going to be emptied enough as it is. I will pay, of course, but only when I can. That said, for the time being, it has nothing to do with the situation with Beth. My differences with the old brothel are less of a concern than this unborn bastard.
I'm sure Shataya would not come and demand payment from you outside of her establishment. You are free to do as your honor demands.
Let's go. I hate to think of the poor girl in the gutter because of me.